Welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Today just sort of flew by like crazy. Looks like I just went live over here, so I'm good to go. It says, "Are your habits ruining your life?" Extreme mindset. We're going to talk about that today. Absolutely had an opportunity. Um, Somebody I've been following for a little while, Miss Rebecca Garrett, had posted just an awesome live today about some motivational stuff. So I went and jumped on it. There was Steve Harvey, Denzel Washington, and I can't think of the other gentleman that we're talking about. Just mindsets, mind shift, manifesting your destiny, manifesting your gifts, defining your future, and things like that. So if this is the first time catching me live, feel free to tell me what part of the country you are chiming in from. Welcome. I'm going to give this just a little bit of time to push across the other platforms. I should be streaming onto a couple of pages and a YouTube channel and Periscope. So out there, Periscopers, thanks for swinging by. I know I don't get a chance to give you guys some shout outs, but really appreciate you swinging by. It is late. We got a lot of good stuff coming up over here the next couple of weeks. I'm just totally jazzed about. Get a chance to just have some new opportunities, blessed with. I'm probably going to talk about those here this next month, which is going to be really, really cool. Moving into that, just sort of been sitting on that. Yesterday I talked about the launch of my brand, XTRN brand, which is absolutely excited. And it's in beta, so I'm rolling out little pieces at a time, just taking my time so I don't try to do too much too fast. So again, really appreciate you guys, and really appreciate you swinging by, checking it out, stopping in. Let me hit the mute button on that. So again, if this is the first time catching me live, just tell me what part of the country you're chiming in from. We're going to talk about habits. Are your habits ruining your future? And I really like this talk. This is part of this. So if you guys would like this YouTube video, it's manifesting your future, manifesting your destiny. Very, very cool. It's Denzel Washington, like I said, Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey, and another gentleman. But there's some nuggets in there that are absolutely mind-blowing. And one of them that I caught was talking about habits, the things that we do on a regular basis. And one of the things that I talk about a lot, and if you're like me, maybe you're struggling, trying to figure out, I get so many people in my inbox, like, how do you reach out to so many people? How do you prospect so many? How do you know so many customers on a regular basis? Well, it comes because I've developed a habit of doing a certain set of operations and processes on a regular daily basis. There's certain things that I do every single day that I don't skip. And some of the things I modify and tweak and I have a little bit of flexibility in, but they still get done. So the cool thing about it is being consistent in the things that I do on a regular basis. And then I take a look at an area that I might be a little bit weak in, and I figure out how can I boost that? How can I get a little bit, how can I get stronger in a certain area? How can I improve in a certain area? How can I outsource something to somebody else that I might not be good at? For example, is on my YouTube videos, I'd like to get those transcribed and put that in the description. I'm not going to sit down and listen to a video and type it out. It ain't going to happen in 15 bazillion years. It's not going to be on my list of things to do. It's just never going to happen. It's like me fixing brakes on a car. Ain't never going to happen. Probably learn how to do it in 15 minutes, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to outsource it to somebody else to let them do that. So there's certain things that I realize that although I can probably do them, I'm not going to. And one of the things that you will never see me doing is transcribing anything. One is I'm horrible at typing. I don't want to learn how to become a better typer. If I can read it into a voice message and do that, I'll do that. And for some reason, the way I talk and the way Siri listens or my iPhone listens, it's like speaking Japanese to a German. They just a lot of times don't connect in the middle. So really appreciate that. Here, Miriam, Yvette, thanks for swinging by. Really appreciate it. Hey, Devon, thanks for swinging by. So we're talking about habits, and I like this. So one, if you're struggling with trying to figure out how to prospect some people, I'm going to back up to this today because I was just looking at my numbers, and I actually just posted my numbers. I enrolled 14 customers today. 14 customers today, and that's as a result of. And the cool thing about it, they're almost on autopilot now, to where I'm not saying this to brag, is because going all the way back to January when I made a decision that I was going to reach out to just a Google amount of people. I think it was 1,800 was my goal in January, and I ended up getting to 1,500. Well, this month I set a goal to reach out to 1,500 people in the month of April. And the cool thing about it is I'm tracking right about 1,300 or so right now, and I still got a solid 14 days to go. So I've got a lot of people. For example, tomorrow is my massive prospecting day. So I'm going to probably do somewhere in around 250 people that I'm going to knock on their door saying, hey, are you open? 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 And I've got it mapped out. I've got my day scheduled out to be able to do that. We've got a really cool webinar I'm going to be on at 9 o'clock. I've just got my day all planned out, and I do that on a weekly basis. I actually put it on a Google Doc spreadsheet, and I go in and adjust depending on my days, and I always give myself flexible time. I had someone the other day in our group says, how do you only do so in 15 minutes? And I put ish behind my stuff because I don't have to do something exactly from 8 to 8:15. If it takes me till 8:22, I'm okay with that as long as I get what I wanted to get done in that time frame. So if I've got I schedule follow-ups in the morning from the day before, and I just allocated 15 minutes because I don't know how many people are going to be the day before. If I got one follow-up, it may take me 2 minutes. If I got 10 follow-ups, it may take me 25 minutes. So it just depends on how many people I need to follow up from the day before. And I won't know that, right? Watch this. I won't know that because I don't know how many people are. And this is, we're going to talk about some goal setting here so you don't set unrealistic expectations. I don't have a clue. I have no control over how many people are going to respond to my messages that I send out the day before. I have no idea when they're going to log into Facebook. I don't know when they're going to log on to LinkedIn. I don't know when they're going to respond to an Instagram message. I have no control over that. The only thing that I have control over is being able to put that message into their inbox, is to be able to put that billboard up on the side of the highway, right? I'm going to put the billboard up on the side of the highway. I'm going to pay the advertising company to put it up there, but I have no control over the person driving the car for them to notice the billboard. You understand that? You see how that makes sense? So when I'm putting those messages into those inbox, what I do have control over is how many messages I put into an inbox. I can control that. I can control that because I can control my time. I can decide, do I want to go watch reruns of whatever on Netflix? Habits, right? How do we want to adjust our habits because our habits determine our future, right? How do we want to set up our future? How do we want to set up the results in the future? So the number of people that I reached out today, my prospecting habit that I have in place from reaching out to people today, that's going to affect my future down the road. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to open up my inbox and I'm going to see if anybody's responded. If they haven't, I don't freak out about it. You want to know why? Because the message is still in their inbox. Some people may have gone in and deleted the message. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about is I want to keep knocking on doors and want to keep knocking on doors. I'm going 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 to keep knocking on doors until somebody says yes. When I was a little kid and I was tired of being hungry and I was tired of looking in the refrigerator and opening up the refrigerator and the only thing that was in there was a light bulb, I got tired of being hungry. I had some solutions. I could have complained and whined and moaned to my mom, or I could have said, I'm tired of being hungry. So I came up with a solution. In the wintertime, I got a snow shovel. And I went door to door and I would knock on the door and say, can I shovel your snow? And I don't even remember if I asked them for money, but I would shovel the snow. I'd go back to the door and they would give me something, $5, $2, $3. I didn't know. I wasn't a business guy. I was a freaking kid trying to make money so I could eat, right? So I'd shovel sidewalks. If I knocked on somebody's door and they didn't answer, I wouldn't freak out and go, oh my God, they didn't answer. They didn't respond. But here, watch this. I would go down the street and I got in the habit of doing this. And they knew I was the kid that shoveled snow. So next thing you know, I mean, I would be done. I'd be all warmed up. I'd have all my warm clothes, all my wet clothes off from shoveling the snow. My hands would be a little bit tingly because I shoveled snow and I may have shoveled, 10 or 15 sidewalks by the time I was done, right? And I'm warmed up. And next thing you know, somebody's knocking on my door. And, mom answers the door and says, hey, we weren't home when you were shoveling snow. Could you come and shovel my sidewalk? Moral of the story was I put the billboard in there. They got the habit. They got used to me showing up every time it snowed, knocking on the door saying, and they came back and asked for me. And of course, because they realized, now watch, here's the cool thing about this, because I was all dried off, I had to get redressed and go back out there. I got more money for doing that. And then in the summertime, I went out and scrounged up a lawnmower. I figured out how to make lawn later. And when I got into high school, I actually took a small engine repair course and learned how to make lawnmowers, learn how to repair lawnmowers so I could cut more grass. And I would go out and I would go door to door when I was a kid, and I would knock on doors and I had a lawnmower and a rake. And I would, the same people I shoveled the snow for, I would knock on the door. I already had credibility, right? I'd knock on the door and say, can I cut your grass? And I would cut their grass, and I would do a really good job, and I'd rake up all the grass and I'd put it in a bag, and I would take the grass. And it's funny. And I just realized what I would do is I had paper bags. I would go down to the grocery store and I would get paper bags to put their grass in because I didn't have the money. I didn't want to spend the money on plastic. I don't even think they had plastic bags when I was a kid. I don't remember. I remember they're all, I think they're all paper bags. So I would put the grass in the plastic bag, and as each bag would fill up, I would roll up the top and I would run down and had these huge dumpsters because we lived in the projects, and they had these huge dumpsters. So I'd run down to the dumpster and I would throw my bag in the dumpster, and then I'd run down and I'd move, and I'd get a couple of bags lined up, and I'd set them out there, and I'd just tell, hey, I'm going to set this up here. I'm going to come back and get it. And I would go back, get the bags, and I would take them and I'd throw them in the dumpster at the end of, that was down in the alley at the end of the road. I just thought about it. I forgot that I did that. And I would do this on a regular basis, right? Hey, Cheryl, thanks for swinging by. So I do this on a regular basis, and that's how I got in the habit. So when you're out prospecting, I designed my future, right? I designed my future because these people now knew that because I did a good job cutting the grass, they would then come back to my door, or they would see me walking down the street going somewhere, and they'd say, hey, can you come by and cut my grass this weekend? I'm a kid, right? I mean, I'm like in middle school, 7th grade, 6th grade, I don't know what it was. I was a little guy, you know, and when I say little guy, I was also skinny as heck. And they would ask me to do this because they saw that I did a really good job, that I showed up when I said I was going to show up, that I cut the grass when I was going to cut the grass, and I did what I needed to do to show up. And that was a habit that I created to design my future, because my future was the fact that I was tired of being hungry and I wanted some money for some food, because you only get so much food, you only get so much food stamps in a certain month. And, you know, it was my mom, me, and my little sister, and there was the 3 of us, and we didn't get a lot of money, had no support from my dad, and my mother was handicapped, so she didn't have a job. So there was all of that combined into one. Now I could have used all of that as excuses to, you know, pour me, whatever it was, but I didn't. So in designing the future and creating our habits, what do we do? What are we thinking about? What are we letting hold us back so we're not moving forward, right? What are the decisions that we are making right now, right at this very minute, right at this very moment? Are you thinking to myself, oh man, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to prospect, I'm going to reach out to somebody? Why not do it right now? Why not start the habit right now? It don't have to be 1 million people. Reach out to 5 people. Reach out to 2 people. Reach out to somebody. No zeros at the end of the day. No zeros at the end of the day. You do that on a regular basis, and then it gets fun. You know, man, I reached out to 10 people today, and I got 1 person to respond. I reached out to 25 people, and I got 6 people respond. After a while, you have a quantitative measure. Somebody the other day asked me when I put my post and I actually have it in time frames, because I know I can reach out to about 18 people in 20 minutes because I've gotten really good at it. I've got some stuff, and I'll flip-flop back and forth between Facebook and between LinkedIn. I don't really do a lot on Instagram. I probably should, but it's just like I'm just staying focused right now on those 2 projects. But I've got somewhere right around 7,000 people on Facebook right now on a page that I target, that I can reach out to. They're just sitting there. They say, hey, yeah, we're on Facebook, and we like the same thing you like. And I go in and I send them a message, and I talk to them, and I comment, and I engage with them, and I comment. And next thing you know, I move them over here, and next thing you know, they're a customer. And it's all because I show up every single day, and I've mastered my craft. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because my habit is designing my future, and I'm not anybody special. I was a skinny little kid who had an empty refrigerator, who made a decision to get a snow shovel and a freaking lawnmower and go out and shovel snow and cut grass because I was tired of being hungry. So the point that I'm trying to make is, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? What are the habits that you have that you're doing right now that are going to determine the results that you're going to get tomorrow? And are those habits, are you reaching out to people? Are you following up with people? Are you being true? Are you being true to who you really are? And that's a whole nother part of that that YouTube video that if you want it, I'll send you the link to it, because it's definitely worth listening to, that talks about the gift that's inside of you is what's going to help you to determine your future. You were born with that gift. It's a God-given gift. And a lot of times we let all this outside external crap subdue that gift, because we got all this other stuff that's going around. Maybe something bad happened to us when we were kids, or maybe something bad happened to us when we're adults. And then we've got that hate and that resentment and all that stuff. Or maybe we're, involved in alcohol or drugs or some kind of other addictive thing that's just squashing that natural innovate and that natural gift that we have inside of us, so we can't grow. So what I challenge you to do, here's my challenge, and I love challenges. Somebody had brought it up the other day. I challenge you right now to make a decision. I'm challenging you, and this is the challenge. I'm gonna have a really good one here. I'm starting next month. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's gonna be, I think we're gonna see here. And I'm gonna let it maybe be a little bit God inspired. But yes, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Absolutely, Cheryl. Yeah, and when you get to that bottom, right, Cheryl, thanks for chiming in. When you get to that bottom, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you're ready. There's a bottom. Everybody has a bottom. It's different from everybody. And when I say a bottom, it's the point that you hit, that you're tired of being in that crappy relationship. You're tired of not having any money. You're tired of being in debt. Whatever it is, whatever that is. Maybe you're tired of thinking about that thing that you always wanted to do. That refrigerator's empty, and now it's time to start filling it up. And the way to fill that up is to go out and start knocking on those doors. It can be virtual doors in terms of reaching out to people saying, hey, maybe you've got a big dream out there that you want to do, and you've got this whole list of things that somehow this imaginary list that you've got to get an LLC and you got to do all this, rather than just reaching out to people saying, hey, I see that you specialize in there's so many movies about that kind of stuff where people, Hustle and Flow is one, where he ends up getting, he does this, I don't even remember the guy's name, but he does like this tape, right? They record this tape in this house. He gets locked up in jail, and he gets his girlfriend to take this music over to these record labels and get her to play it. And she's knocking on doors. Next thing you know, it's a hit, and they start listening to it in prison, and he makes a lot of money. So he didn't do it right. He freaking created a studio inside a house, and of course it's a movie. But the inspirational part of that was he didn't buy into the fact he had to have an expensive studio to go cut his album. So you don't have to, a lot of times, have to have everything right before you start. Sometimes just starting is enough. Just going out and being sick and tired of your refrigerator being empty. You've hit that bottom, you're tired of it, and you want to change. So what are you going to do to pick yourself up and go out and start knocking on those doors? What are you going to do to go out and find out who specializes in whatever it is you specialize in, reach out? You would be amazed. My coach challenged me to do this, and I'm going to just maybe be some inspiration for you. She challenged me to go find, I think I want to say 7 or 8 people, a bunch of people that were 7-figure earners in the industry that I wanted to focus on, and go reach out to them and ask them, now watch this, ask them what book they were reading right now. And I reached out to them. Surprisingly, you would think that, oh, they're multimillionaires. They're not going to respond back. They don't have time for that. Every single one of them responded back. Every single one of them responded with, here's the books I'm reading. Here's, and had a conversation with people that are 7-figure income earners, thinking back, guess what? They all started at the same place that I started at, right? They started a 6-figure run, and they started a 7-figure run, and they started knocking on doors. They started reaching out, and they grew big businesses and big teams. And, a couple of them have 700,000 customers and business owners on their teams. They've got huge, and they're as humble as you could possibly imagine. And they're looking to help people. They want to go out and make an impact. And so I challenge you right now to start right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody that's in the industry that you're looking for, and reach out to them and say, hey, what book are you reading? How did you get started? I'm trying to break into this industry. Would you mind giving me a few pointers? And I'll bet you they reply back. I'll bet you they reply back and give you some kind of input or feedback. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. No more empty refrigerators. Go out and make an extreme impact. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.